Hello, my dear friends. I'm back again with some more juicy stories for you today, and of course, my insights on them. Today's first story is about OP's sister, who had an affair with her brother-in-law and is now upset that she is excluded from the family vacation, where brother-in-law and OP's sister are invited. Well, my question is, why is brother-in-law invited and OP's sister is not? Weren't they both involved in the affair? Why is brother-in-law favored in this situation? Listen till the end of the story to find out my opinion about the situation. Enjoy the stories, guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. I, female 32, and my husband, male 36, and our children typically spend one vacation every year with my older sister, Mary, 37, her husband, John, 39, and their children. The kids are very close and spend a lot of time together. My sister and I have two younger sisters, 31, 27, and a younger brother, 25. This year I extended an invite to sisters 39, 27, and brother. An invite was not extended to sister Selena, 31, because a few years ago, she and my brother-in-law, John, had an affair. Mary worked very hard through therapy to stay married with John and to not ostracize Selena. Family members know of the affair, but it's not spoken of openly. Selena and John still see each other at family events, but do not talk or sit by each other. Pretty awkward, but maybe the best possible outcome. My older sister and I found a beach house for our next vacation that had extra room, so invited the others to join and pitch in on the cost. Sister 27 agreed to come, and little brother declined, so that would not be all the siblings minus Selena. Somehow, Selena found out she was the only one to not receive an invite and is very hurt. Our mom says I should have invited her, knowing that she would have said no. She just had a baby and is a single mom on a very tight budget. Mom also thinks that a vacation with John, Mary, and Selena would be fine, that we should all act as if nothing ever happened, even though Mary has expressed multiple times that while she still loves Selena, things can never go back to the way they were. Mary suffered from PTSD as a result of the affair. Because there are so many siblings, vacations are often split with only 2 or 3 of us going together. Nobody has expressed being upset about this in the past. I don't like the idea of inviting her, even knowing 99% she would say no. What if she did say yes, and I have to tell her it wasn't a real invite? Am I the a-hole? Edit. To add clarification, John has also suffered real consequences from the affair, but asking him to stay at home while Mary and their young kids go to the beach is not really an option. All of the siblings have been really mature in loving and forgiving both parties. However, having them sleep in the same house would be putting Mary through trigger hell, the only one in the trio not at fault. I can believe Selena is excluded from these gatherings because she did an unforgivable thing. What I cannot understand is why John gets to stay married to Mary and gets invited to big family gatherings like everything is fine. He also did an unforgivable thing and has suffered no consequences. What do you guys think? And now let's see what the community says. Curran 2013 says, "Not the a-hole. She and John should have foreseen what would happen if they had an affair. John is lucky Mary kept him. I am sorry Selena feels left out, but she made her bed. It's just a pity you can't leave John out too." Edited to add, again, this is a vacation OP and Mary do every year. OP isn't inviting John. OP is inviting Mary, who wants to have her husband there along with her kids. It's just as much Mary's vacation as it is OP's. If it was reversed, and a vacation that OP always did with Selena, then hands down OP would have been the a-hole. But it wasn't. It isn't OP's choice if Mary chooses to stay with her children's father and make it work. But I commend her for trying to stay on her side, and it isn't like Selena isn't invited to family events, just vacations with Mary, so Mary can relax on said vacation. Shadow Fox says, "Not the a-hole. Actions have consequences. She chose to have an affair and can't now assume everyone wants to have her around, especially in a case where the other person she cheated with will be sleeping in the same house." Radar 1031 says, "Not the a-hole. Selena relinquished her right to be included when she betrayed her family. I'm incredibly surprised anyone in your family was able to forgive her, to be honest. It takes a certain kind of evil to betray a family member in the way she did." When I, 38 male, was 23, had a relationship with my friend's 40 male wife, 39 female. Not proud of that. I sucked. She got pregnant of twins. I believe those kids were mine since my friend had fertility issues. So once the babies were born, I sued her for a paternity test. I had to show evidence of our affair to prove why this request wasn't out of the question, and there was a high possibility I could be the father. The court accepted, and they were 100% my children, but the judge granted me no rights or responsibilities over my kids. I attempted to pay child support, but they refused, because they were conceived in a marital union, and my friend was willing to acknowledge them. So I had no business being in their lives, and any relationship would be up to their parents' discretion, according to the judge, for the kids' well-being. I remember going to their house to beg them to let me see the twins, but only let me once. I loved them from that moment and wanted to be in their lives, but they just refused and threatened to file charges against me, so I moved on. This was really traumatic to me. I loved those boys and wanted to be there for them. I remember crying because I couldn't be part of their lives. I even wrote a journal called Another Day Without My Boys. But things got better. I moved to another city. I met my wife, and now we have a wonderful son, 8. Last month, my ex-friend contacted me because he wanted to know where I live, since my sons want to know me. Apparently, my sons, 15, started asking. They had doubts because they looked nothing like their father or any relative, and after insisting so much, their parents ended up confessing what happened, or at least half of it. I declined because getting over it was maybe the hardest thing I ever had to do, and I don't think I can do it again. So I sent them the journal I wrote about them, and a letter stating that if once they turn 18, they still want to meet me, I'll be here for them with my open arms, but now I can't. After I sent the journal, my boys keep texting me every time, requesting to meet, and it's hard not to be able to. So I called their parents and demanded that the kids stop texting me, and they, my ex-friend and his wife, should never call me again unless my kids need an organ transplant. They called me a jerk for such a childish attitude and demanding a painful thing for my kids. So am I in the wrong here? Just need unbiased points of view, since almost everyone calls me the a-hole. They threatened to sue OP for trying to see the kids. They legally ensured OP had no rights or responsibilities towards these boys. OP is setting a reasonable boundary that once the kids are legal adults and can't be ripped away from OP. I think they should never have given the children OP's contact info until OP consented to a relationship. OP has his own family to think about. I wonder how OP's significant other feels about this. It would be a major change for OP's own child to suddenly have teenage siblings in the picture. Let's see what the other community members think. HaterBot says, through this entire drama, your entire concern has been about yourself. Not these kids, not your friend, not his wife. You're the a-hole. Small and Mighty Traveler says, not the a-hole, mostly. But what does texting hurt, and why would you want to waste another 3 years of their lives? Kids are kids, and they didn't ask to be part of this drama. If your main concern is that you're worried they'll be ripped away from you again, I'd get something in writing from your ex saying that won't happen. I'd also caution them that you'll be telling the kids the truth as to why you weren't around. They can't expect your silence. Life says, everyone sucks here. You've been given a second chance to have a relationship with your boys. The mother and acting dad of your children should never have tried to mask you were willing to be a dad to your boys to begin with. I, 27 female, and my sister, 30 female, have a really strained relationship. I'm very low contact with her, and she only contacts me either to get money or ask me to buy stuff for her kids. Me and my husband, 27 male, are very well off and own a business together. So over time, with some fun money, I collected designer handbags, and soon I had a collection. So when we bought our house, I made a huge closet to put all of them in. Now recently, me and my husband just announced our pregnancy, and we threw a party, so we messaged family to come over and celebrate with us. My sister came, and she looked around a lot for some reason. So since I was suspicious, I made sure to watch her moves. Soon she started making her way upstairs, and I told my husband to tell people I'm using the bathroom, and I signaled him showing him my sister going upstairs, so I went up with her trying to be low about it. I saw her look around a few rooms and mine and my husband's. Then she found my handbag collection and looked around a bit and took 3 and stuffed it in her duffel bag. I forgot to mention, but I should have been suspicious by how awkwardly big it was, but I assumed it was for her 2 kids. She took like 3, which were my really expensive ones, my Birkin, Chanel, and Dior bags. I screamed, "What do you think you're doing?" And she drops the bag and starts saying, "Why are you following me?" And I tell her, "Clearly because you were trying to steal my bags." And she starts saying how I don't need all these bags, and I shouldn't be selfish. I told her I'd be happy to give her my old bags, but not these because I enjoy collecting them. I'm sorry if it sounds snobby. It grew to be a habit. Soon she goes down the stairs crying unnecessarily loud. And so a few people follow her asking what's wrong. And she said basically the whole thing that happened upstairs. And everyone kind of scolded her. Because 5 people, which were my mom, my aunt, my cousin, my dad, and my uncle. My mom and dad taking her side really hurt. And so now I'm really wondering if I'm the a-hole. I think OP should never invite her sister over anymore. Stealing is probably the most cut-and-dry violation of morals there is. And OP has every right to be upset at her for stealing. Even worse is her reaction and attempt to twist blame onto OP after she got caught. Yonda02000 says, "Not the a-hole. Might be a good idea to install cameras, and obviously do not invite your sister over anymore." Bored and Itchy says, "Not the a-hole. Your sister isn't entitled to take your possessions, irrelevant of your financial position. Her excuses are a pathetic attempt to distract from the simple fact that she's a thief with absolutely no respect for you or your home." Burnt Chips 444 says, "Not the a-hole. Pardon me, but your sister's a weirdo. I mean, you help her out, and she's stealing from you. Talk about biting the hand that feeds you. Jeez." My parents have been married for 19 years. My mom has 4 kids from her first marriage. Josh, 28, Ella, 26, Poppy, 24, and Jax, 20. All 4 of them have the same bio parents. From what I know, their father's not a great guy, and did some stuff to my mom. But my mom and dad always kept me as far away from him as possible, so I don't know him really. But his kids with my mom continued to live with him half the time until they were each 18. They're still really close to him today as well. I, 16 female, have always been the outsider with them. Even with Jax, who was closest in age to me, and he doesn't remember a time before I was born, is closer to them than he is to me. I've learned to accept I'm not their sister or their family, and I'm not their friend either. So when Josh got engaged, I did not expect to be in his wedding, but my parents, especially my mom, did. So when they found out Josh's future wife's younger siblings, like much younger, were bridesmaids and groomsmen, and I was the only sibling not included, my mom went to speak to Josh, which in turn meant all 4 of her other kids told her I was not their sibling, and even if she loved me, they did not, and I wasn't wanted anywhere near them. Neither was my dad, but he was invited to keep her happy. I would not be. My parents have been, so stuck on this. And then a few days ago, I was like, this was no surprise to me, and I'm shocked it is for you guys. None of the 4 of them talked to me, and I have always been the outsider with them. My parents were so upset, and told me I should expect it, because I'm just as much a sibling as they are. I told them my whole life I've known they did not love me. I also told them that at one time, I would have cried so hard, but that I'm now at the point where that's just the fact of life. I told them I would have been speechless if I had been asked. So no, I wasn't surprised, and they should let it go, because I would not want to be in a wedding where nobody wants or even likes me. My parents are so mad that I have this attitude about it. They want me to care more, and said I was very flippant in saying I was not surprised. Am I the a-hole? I think OP's siblings are horrible for making OP pay for her mom's mistakes. OP is definitely not in the wrong here. I think OP's parents really failed her here. And let's see what the community thinks. Plain Selling UK says, "You are not the a-hole. However, I hate to break this to you, but reading between the lines, I wonder if part of the problem is that your mom has not been honest with you about the circumstances surrounding the breakup of her previous marriage. This may have contributed toward the half-siblings' feelings toward you all your life." Euthanasia 63 says, "Your parents want you to care more. What the duck? So you can be disappointed and cry? You've accepted that your step-siblings do not give a duck about you. The groom couldn't even be bothered to invite you to the wedding, much less have you in the wedding party. And your mama is just now noticing the distant relationship you all have? Oblivious much? Go do something really nice or fun for yourself on the day or days of the wedding. Not the a-hole." Antelope 31 says, "Not the a-hole, but your parents really failed you here. They were so blind to the other kids' treatment of you for your entire life that they are the only ones surprised. When you were younger, this had to be so painful for you all the time, but they were so focused on pretending, they never did anything to help the situation. Ultimately, you cannot force feelings where there are none. What they need to do is make sure to actually see and celebrate you, and apologize big time. And make sure the older siblings never have any legal power over you and your parents' will, and are never named as executors. You would be immediately screwed out of absolutely everything. Let their dad provide for them. Background: my father, 66 male, suddenly passed away in February. It's been a big shock and adjustment for everyone. My now husband, 35 male, proposed on my, 33 female, birthday in March. He'd already talked to my mom and dad about it. I'm not a big fan of parties, so husband and I decided to do a small celebration for our engagement. Have a nice meal at a fancy hotel. Everyone can dress up. The more we planned and the more we talked about it, we thought it would be fun to just get married. We've been together for coming up 10 years. Neither of us want a big wedding, so we thought a small surprise wedding would suit us. Especially with my dad passing away, I didn't want a traditional big white wedding. We invited 10 people: my mom, sister, and her partner, his mom, dad, brother, his partner, and daughter. We also invited our best friends, who are also in a relationship. All goes to plan. Everyone arrives. They're escorted into our reserved room where they see a sign saying, "Welcome to the wedding of husband and OP." Everyone is surprised. Our officiant gets people in places. Husband and I walk in together. We get married. Both moms sign the marriage certificate. We go for our sit-down meal. Everyone seemed happy at the time. People were laughing, saying they should have expected it. We had a photographer there to catch their reaction, ceremony, and post pictures after. We went away locally for a small honeymoon. When we've gotten back, both my mom and his mom have pulled us aside separately to say they were disappointed in us, that we had taken away their opportunity to be with us when we chose a venue, did wedding planning stuff. They are both especially upset they never came wedding dress shopping with me, which I ironically didn't even do. I bought an emerald green 1950s bodycon pencil dress online. It was the first and only dress I tried on. Am I the a-hole for taking away everyone's chance to be involved with the wedding? Oh, Katie says, not the a-hole. Your wedding, your way. Your moms can feel disappointed, but this suited you two. You both agreed that this minimized the insanity and pressure that a big wedding can involve. Both of you are happy. That's really all that matters. Tell your moms you two could have eloped and no one would have witnessed. Previous Werewolf 1398 says, not the a-hole. It was your wedding, not their opportunity. They shouldn't be making you feel guilty when you did what you and your husband wanted to do, which wasn't a big traditional wedding with a traditional wedding gown and such associated traditions, such as shopping for the dress. I now hate the word tradition. They need to realize that it wasn't their wedding and that they should be prioritizing your happiness over their desires. Beck 2010 says, together, you and your husband need to have a conversation with the moms. Mom, mother-in-law, while we appreciate you didn't feel included in the planning, our wedding was precisely what we wanted. Something very low-key and with the people that meant the most to us. It hurts that you're making our wedding about you after the fact. It was a lovely ceremony, celebration, and meal. Please stop commenting and attempting to make us feel guilty, not the a-hole. Right B9809 says, what you guys did should become a trend. Brilliant move. You saved yourselves months of arguments and expenditures and craziness that no one in the world should want. Tell them that it would be lovely if they would like to plan and make a party to celebrate the marriage, not the a-hole.